Good afternoon, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Tuesday, September the 18th. Well, I think the biggest news of the day is the fascination with the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh to the U.S. Supreme Court. An allegation of sexual assault against him when he was 17 years old, assaulting a 15-year-old woman, has now taken center stage. It may imperil his nomination, although Donald Trump's sticking with him, and most Republicans certainly are. He's going to have to testify next week, and the woman will testify as well. Will it be another Anita Hill? We don't know. They're going to limit the number of witnesses. It would be interesting to put Brett Kavanaugh's good friend and frequent drinking buddy, Mark Judge, back on the stand for some sworn testimony, because he also was apparently there that night. He's not perhaps the most credible witness. Arkansans have mostly been silent. The congressional delegation has avoided this issue. It'd be interesting to hear what they have to say. Bud Cummins, who is Trump's campaign manager in Arkansas, has been busy on Twitter deriding the woman's complaint as something very serious, which is a statement in and of itself. On other topics today, we've gotten some more news out of some FOI requests about the government transformation that Asa Hutchinson plans. He wants to reduce the number of state departments. He'll combine a lot of them into one. That doesn't necessarily produce efficiency. We found one proposal from Allen Kerr, the state insurance commissioner, to create a giant agency of 24 currently separate agencies. He'd be in charge of it, of course, be quite an empire. He's been wanting to build a big fancy new office building next to the Capitol for a long time. This would be a way to do it. Apparently, based on a memo I've seen from the governor's chief of staff, the details of this are going to be announced sometime early in October. I think he wants to make it a campaign push. Jeremy Hutchinson, the former state senator, was in federal court briefly this morning. He pleaded not guilty to a dozen wire and tax fraud charges, using campaign money for personal expenses, not reporting the income. Little was said. His father, Tim Hutchinson, the former U.S. senator, was in the courtroom. There's a trial set for late October, but it'll likely be delayed. Speaking of public corruption, a good article on Arkansas Blog last night by David Ramsey, arkansasblog.com, about Tim Summers, yet another former Republican legislator from Northwest Arkansas, who's been involved in the scandal about the General Improvement Fund money that's led to several convictions already. Summers worked for one of the agencies that was part of the sprawling behavioral health empire that is now known as Preferred Family Health Care. In a memorandum unsealed in court, John Woods apparently told Mike and Neil that he believed Tim Summers was getting kickbacks as they were getting kickbacks from General Improvement Fund money. David Ramsey talked to Tim Summers. He said that's a blatant lie, never did such a thing. What Tim Summers did was simply this. He was a former Republican legislator. He went to work for a behavioral health agency. He says he didn't lobby legislators. He merely asked them to send money to his employer. They did send money to his employer. That employer didn't pay him kickbacks. It merely paid him a salary, a legal salary, and appreciation, no doubt, for the good work he did with legislators. By the way, this money scheme was done under an unconstitutional plan of spending, which the Supreme Court said could no longer continue. So no crime there, no harm, no foul, just another legislator or former legislator getting fat off the taxpayer's dollar, legal or otherwise. In other political news, the Sierra Club, the environmental organization, today endorsed Clark Tucker for the 2nd District Congress seat. He's running against Republican French Hill. French Hill is going to have Mike Pence, the vice president, into town Friday for a campaign rally, and somebody with that event had lined up the Bryant High School band to play at this political campaign rally. You know, that's not really legal to use public employees for political purposes. I think the Bryant band apparently didn't understand this wasn't just a general public appearance by the vice president, which would have been a legal appearance, but a political event. They're apparently going to be pulling out of the event. Good profile by the New Yorker magazine, which is famous for these things, on a former Arkansan, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, now Donald Trump's press spokesman. The main point of the article seems to be one that we've asked ourselves: does Sarah Huckabee really believe in anything except defending whatever it is Donald Trump says, no matter how outlandish? As I wrote, and they quoted me in the article, if the huckster spawn has a soul, she sold it to the devil named Donald Trump. I'm Max Brantley. I'm resisting, as you can hear. I'll be back tomorrow.
Listen to our music, you will feel it. You feel it in here.
The music is surviving, probably more than ever. owe it to New Orleans, we owe it to the world to keep it going.
It's a feeling that you have that was deep in you, powerful.
What is Mardi Gras Indian to New Orleans? Mardi Gras Indians is New Orleans.
We created rock and roll. We created swing, you know what I'm saying?